With the Bob Dylan biopic coming out soon, I think it would be a great idea to go through the development of his fashion throughout the years and also explain the 3 main techniques that he used to both reflect and change the times that he lived in. So let's get started. So yeah, this is how Dylan entered the scene as the ultimate folk man, or in this photo, the ultimate train conductor. Dylan in this era is very obviously trying to ape Woody Guthrie, who was his favorite musician and who legitimately dressed like that because he was actually around in the 30s. But it was this very down-to-earth, thrifted, Dust Bowl vibe that he was trying to give off with these clothes. And the thing that I really want to get across is that this was very much an intentional move. You know, Bobby wasn't actually waking up at 5 to go bale hay. He was living in New York at the time that he was wearing these kind of clothes. But it was really great for showing this is the kind of music that I make, and this is the kind of clothes that I wear to represent that. You know, this is music that you can believe in. This is music that you can take to the bank and get a receipt for it because, you know, I'm Bobbert Dillinson and you can vote for me, you know. And this is something that Dylan would do throughout his entire career, is try to have the full package to sell you, not just the music. Like in the later years, he was, you know, dressing up in these costumes and whiteface. But in these early years, when he very much is a folk music purist, he's going to dress like the folkiest man on planet Earth to really just sell the full package. So I'm gonna be fully honest with you, and you know, this may get me off on the wrong foot here, but I don't know how much I love this era. I feel like sometimes it can be just complete costumey. There's kind of this lack of reality, I would say, that's kind of missing from some of these outfits that make him look like, you know, he's in fact just the train conductor at an amusement park. But I will say that there are definitely some very good outfits in here that he throws in from time to time. Some of these work shirts, whenever he's got them paired correctly or worn in the right way, are just so classic that, yeah, of course that they look good. And I think that whenever he was making the most serious music of his career, you know, where he was doing a lot of protest songs at this point in time, it fits the bill. And that's something that is definitely displayed best in the classic Bob Dylan core photo. We've got the dark jeans with the sky blue denim or work shirt tucked in. And then of course the brown jacket tying it all together with the boots. It's such a classic outfit and it's so simple. Everything works because it's all matching with each other. And it just goes to show that you don't have to have extremely fancy garments to look good. If it's done well, it's done well. It should be remembered that this is, you know, very conservative clothing. I mean, this is actual workwear, but it doesn't feel that way because he's matched them so well that it comes together to form this, you know, wonderful outfit. An outfit that will be copied in Bob Dylan Forgot How Cold It Was outfits for the end of time on TikTok. So don't overthink it. So, and after this folk purist era, we of course get Electric Dylan, which means the most acclaimed music of his career, and also the most famous outfits that the man ever wore. And this fit is honestly just what you want out of that mid-60s Dylan look. He's got the double-breasted black coat. He's got the world's strangest collar. He's got the hair. I mean, it's just a well put together outfit. And it always seemed that Dylan was probably the most comfortable when he was just in black on black. And that confidence definitely comes through in this photo. While he was going in a more rock direction during this time in his music, he didn't start dressing like that much of a typical rock star. He's not wearing you know, jeans and tie-dye shirts. He was wearing these very well fitted, you know, tailored suits, but it gave that rock star energy, which was what we needed. And this era shows just how powerful a statement accessory can be because those ever-present wayfarers bring the attitude in these outfits. A lot of these outfits could be a little bit boring, you know, black on black. You know, some people may feel that was lazy, but you slap on those wayfarers, iconic immediately. However, it would be remiss to say that he wasn't wearing any color. Of course, you have those famous polka dot shirts and, you know, the striped pants that he was rocking during those years. And it was showing that the man was brave whenever he wanted to be. You may have to be an actual rock star to pull off this outfit. But when you are a rock star, you know, why not? I think that this era really just shows how good of taste Dylan had whenever he was in the mood, because, you know, these outfits are not necessarily any one part of them is so, you know, spectacular. Whenever these garments are like paired together, it just gives the outfits this iconic energy that just, you know, cannot be replicated. Now, immediately following this like very flashy and iconic rock star era, we of course have the intentional turning away from the spotlight by Dylan. And while this time period is not as iconic as the earlier, I do think that we still get some of the best outfits of his entire career during this time. So the best and worst part about Bob Dylan is that he just does not care. I mean, he just fundamentally does not care. And you can see that in good and bad. You know, good whenever he was like, you know, he went electric, even though he was getting booed at the festivals. But also, you know, Christmas album. And you will see both sides of this coming up very soon. So Dylan did have a very, you know, 70s kind of look during the 70s. There wasn't anything that he was particularly wearing that was that alien, you know, to that era. But he did have enough of the good taste lying around from the 60s to, you know, like kind of avoid the particular sins of the era. A lot of his outfits during this time were like this kind of like cowboy rock star look. And he also allowed himself to wear these almost like Paul Newman type outfits where he would have like the dress shirt, you know, tucked in with the loafers. Bearded Dylan is also possibly best Dylan, but he's just looking like absolutely like a movie star in this photo. I know I've been pumping this guy up for the past however many minutes, but you know, to err is human, and Bob Dylan definitely shown his human side during the 80s. And I've talked about all this good taste that he's had in avoiding the sins of the era. Well, you can only outrun the devil for so long. This is legitimately horrifying every time I look at it. The 80s, like as a decade, were just like the opposite of what like a Bob Dylan is. And none of the outfits or styles that were going on during this time worked with him at all. This may have also been the time whenever Dylan was at his like peak slump years in terms of like goodwill and popularity, because he wasn't old enough to be like retro, just old enough to be something that we didn't particularly want to look at. However, by the 90s, the tide started to change, and, you know, the respect started to swell again, showing, you know, just how much of a legend this man actually is. And also, during this era, we started to get less of, like, you know, the war crime level outfits, and he started to kind of ease into this more, like, Tex-Mex troubadour kind of look. Not as good as the glory years, but definitely not as bad as the unspeakable time. Also, I mean, you know, man is absolutely ancient at this point. If he wants to be a cowboy, you know, he can just be a cowboy, I guess. This look does just roughly kind of work for him, and it's safe enough that he can always just be wearing kind of variations of it, and it's not any kind of issue. However, you know, once again, Dylan is the ultimate troublemaker, and yeah, occasionally he's gonna dress like a Hasidic, you know, cowboy or whatever this thing is. And of course, there is the infamous Bieber look that Timothée Chalamet recently copied for a red carpet appearance. I truly do not know what to commentate about this outfit. I would just say that this is like peak performance art or something, and just kind of let this photo wash over you in a great wave. That's really it. But Bieber hair aside, Bob Dylan is a fashion icon for the ages, and will remain so, something that has been seen in that recent Levi's collaboration for the new biopic. And while Bob Dylan was not sinless in his execution over the years, I think in the same way in fashion as he did in music, he forged a new path. And if you want to forge a new path in your life, watch this video.